I'm Bree the Plant Lady.
Hey, I'm Dave.
And we are officially setting up for our holiday potluck. But, oh, and look, Cubby is here to join in the fun, and he is wearing a bow tie to greet everyone this afternoon. But it is also time for a weekly garden tour. So in the midst of setup, I'm gonna take you all on a stroll to see what's happening here in Zone 7, Central North Carolina. Well, as you can see, we are actually, it's not raining, it's not terribly cold. So we are setting up for our holiday party out front here at Carolina Garden House. Inside is all decked out. Don't worry, I have a video coming up tomorrow that will show you some of the things that I did using the garden to create beautiful holiday decorations, including some of these table arrangements, these centerpieces. Behind me here, I actually did do a little bit of cutback yesterday. I actually only cut back the Salvia leucantha, the Mexican sage. And that's just because I think it's really ugly once it's been frosted. But I've left everything else, and I didn't make a video of it, but because literally all I did was scatter seeds. I didn't do any bed prep whatsoever. But I did put down poppy seeds here. So I'll definitely be giving you updates as all that germinates. I'm pleased to see there actually are quite a few violas from that seeding application that I did back in August. So let me turn the camera around so that you can see that. So the violas, I just did a couple of packages, and you can see some are already blooming. These are just like the sort of typical Johnny jump ups. And you see more blooming over here. And then in this bed, this is actually somehow self-sown larkspur and nigella. So you can really see the difference here. This is the larkspur, that is the nigella. And I think that's because it was in some of the pots that we used to fill in areas with a little bit of compost. Another bed that I cleaned up yesterday, this one was filled with annuals, coleus, sweet potato vine, and I just ripped all that out and put in a whole bunch of sweet little violas. I also planted a bunch of daffodil bulbs, and then of course I've got the floating flower arrangements. I think this one is especially beautiful. That camellia is October Affair, and the variegated here is Alstroemeria. And this variegated is Arometallicum, and then just some purple violas. And over here is kind of a mix of different varieties of camellias, along with more Alstroemeria, some strawberry leaves, and some Fothergilla foliage. So I think these look quite nice, very cheerful for the gathering today. Obviously, we have not broken ground yet on the new project, and that's just because it's so wet. But we have a couple of sunny days coming up. We're actually planning to rent the sod cutter tomorrow. So progress will be made soon. And speaking of progress, the pots here sown the week of Thanksgiving are rockin'. Just want to give you a preview because actually the video that I posted on Sunday shows these up close and personal. The poppies are germinating. So I'm really, really pleased to see that this is all happening. And again, I wanted just to show everybody that you can grow poppies in pots. So it isn't a plant that requires being grown in the ground. And more pots here in the driveway bed. Everything's looking great. The viola side of the wall is just covered in blooms. That pot of rye looks great. These, I've actually been harvesting the herbs for different meals for today. And I did some fall foliage inspired floating arrangements here. And I actually have a video coming out this week that is going to feature more information on that particular maple and all the other really late fall foliage plants that are rocking right now in my garden. These planters look fantastic. It's amazing how simple container gardens can be, but how much joy they bring. It's definitely something I hope everyone will, you know, indulge in. So I think that you walk out the door and you see pots like this and you can't help but smile. And speaking of smiling, I'm not sure that these that these cauliflowers are going to get to full size, but it does make me happy to see them. And look at these over here. I'm not going to harvest them yet, as you know, hope springs eternal. Hopefully they will get a little bit bigger. And I have yet to get into this bed, but I will. And everything keeps on growing. So actually, in some ways, it's really kind of good to not always jump on everything so fast. So there's plenty of weeding that needs to be done. You know, this is all vetch. Ugh, the bane of my existence. But it's really exciting to see the diversity that is represented from self-sowing. So we've got poppies, we've got larkspur, we've got bachelor buttons. This border is going to be amazing this year, and I haven't done anything at all to it. So this is one of the things that I really want to explore more and continue to explain, that once you start doing this cottage garden seeding, you can be very hands-off and look what will happen on its own without you having to buy seeds or work or do anything whatsoever. Now the wave bed filled with rye and oats is growing great. I still don't see any of the flower seeds that we sowed germinating, which I think is very, very curious. It's possible that the grains actually do suppress seed germination of other species. I don't know. It'll be interesting to see. Over here, I finally got that window box done, and that is included in tomorrow's video, so I won't go into any details, but I had so much fun putting that together. And you can really see this Lindera salicifolia in its full deciduous tardiness, tardily deciduous habit. The leaves have gone completely beige. Over here, there's that maple, but don't worry, I'm gonna share details on that. And I'm also gonna share more details in my fall foliage video about the great Chinese fringe tree, which is a fantastic late fall color. And I've been harvesting all the camellia blooms for floating arrangements, but I see one that I missed. And here again is October Affair. And it is just... Well, I'm glad we walked over here because I need to cut some of this, which is Chimonanthus praecox, the sweet Chinese sweet spire, sweet shrub. Oh my gosh, these common names kill me. Anyhow, there's tons of flowers. They smell absolutely magnificent. And I need to get a couple of these to put in arrangements for the holiday potluck today. This will be featured later in the week in a video that's all about things that are flowering right now in Zone 7 here in this, like, kind of the middle of December. So stay tuned for that video. We make our way here. You can see the buds of Camellia brie are starting to really show up, and this is such a floriferous plant. It's really a terrific thing. I haven't done any cutbacks in this border yet. And I have gotten deer repellent sprayed absolutely everywhere because they've really been coming through and eating a lot. Pleased to see broccoli starting to form. We do have some freezing temperatures in the forecast, but nothing that'll do any damage to any of these plants. And you can see the feed tank bed is just full and lush and exceeding all of my expectations. These beds are, yeah, they're rocking. Everything is germinating. There's about 1 billion poppies coming up in here. I showed this in today's video. And all the losing my language skills. The peas are germinating as well. So overall, it's great. Everything planted here on the back porch is doing well. We do have freezing tomorrow night, so I'll bring in the lime and a few other tender plants that have been outside enjoying the frost-free weather. But you can see this foodscape pot really looks so beautiful. And I'm actually gonna cut some of the leaves here just to use on some charcuterie boards for today. See that elephant garlic that I bought from Wegmans and planted? That was the earliest garlic that I planted. It's doing really well. And these grain pots look great. All of the containers in here, I think they look beautiful. You could see this fava bean has not been touched by the cold weather. So you know, still not blooming. I don't know that it'll actually set seed this time of year, but it's definitely not a plant that tolerates the North Carolina summer. So that's an important thing to recognize with plants. And again, not something that is on the seed packet. So you kind of have to figure it out for yourself, which is why I'm here, to figure it out for you. I love these pots. They're so full. And, you know, look, the cauliflower is growing, and, you know, these colorful violas and the grains. It brings me great joy to walk in here. This bed that the seed class sowed is germinating super well, and you could see a million poppies germinating in the pathway, which is precisely what they do. And overall, I think we're set up for a really, really good spring. There's a lot of stuff growing that is going to come to fruition. So there's a handful of places that I really am getting anxious to clean up, and this border is definitely top on that list. I have not harvested the citrus, you can see. I just need to get a ladder out. And, you know, it's amazing the things that are growing. You know, the onions are doing really well. I just need to cut back. This is going to take like 20 minutes. I just have to do it. This has definitely been one of the best early camellia seasons that I've experienced. You can see irrational exuberance it just continues to bloom. And really, really early this year is Roma resorta, which is my all-time favorite. This was actually the plant that inspired me to collect heritage camellias when I worked at Camellia Forest. That's a rooted cutting from the original plant brought into the United States at Magnolia Plantation. Crimson candles open in December. Absolutely bonkers. And one of my all-time favorite camellias, Tama Americana. You can see blooming here. I'm going to gather a couple of these for our floating flower arrangement. Well, this border is looking quite messy. I definitely need to come in and do some cutbacks. We'll get to it. And I wanted to show you the first of my Lenten roses is starting to bloom. This is a hybrid hellebore. I just need to come in and cut back the old foliage so that you can actually see the blooms. And, you know, this is why hydrangeas are stupid. You know, they're already starting to push out new growth. And again, this is why they don't flower well for me here in North Carolina. To be perfectly frank, I think we're going to dig out all of these hydrangeas. I don't want them taking up this square footage in this bed. This bed is too important. And they haven't bloomed for years because of our weather. And I just am tired of it. Just tired of it. Yeah, this bed will definitely be improved with, you know, an hour's worth of attention. And that is coming in the next couple of days, particularly as we have some sunshine. I am very much, like, it's like J.C. Ralston used to say he had chlorophyll in his veins. I am very much, I clearly am sun propelled, which is why I like summer so much. Now over here, I started cleaning this bed up and then I realized I wasn't recording it. And So I stopped and I will get back to it. And I did want to show the process for cleaning this up. There's some castor bean seeds to harvest and then getting this replanted. Well, everybody, I hope you've enjoyed today's weekly garden tour. I've been making lots of videos, so I didn't want to go too in-depth about anything because I don't want to be too redundant. But I look forward to sharing more updates next week after we finally break ground and we do get some real freezing cold. And, well, you know, as the fall season really does finally come to an end, looking forward to solstice, as the days will finally start to increase in day length. Well, I'm wishing you all the very best, and thanks so much for watching, everybody. I'll see you next week.